I'm that girl who is not going to tell you that triggers is like spiritual herpes. Indeed, it's not. And my guides have been having a funny conversation with me today about the tagline they wanted me to say to you. And I don't even know if I got it right, what they wanted to say, because I said, I'm not going to say that. So, okay, so yes, sexual herpes is something different, and being triggered is not like that, obviously, but they're trying to poke fun with gesture and being silly goofs, and to make me giggle, along with maybe some of you, about the significance, once again, of being triggered. It is not social shame. It is nothing but a start of the opportunity for growth and to expand one's experiences and perception on things. So they know, they know very well that many of you who have listened to some of their channeling, at one point or another, you either get the opportunity of a boom, a light bulb moment, that massive aha, wow, that is fantastic. I'm going to stop there. I might even take some notes, and I'm going to really just remind myself of that statement that they said, because this is going to be the key for me to really get my perception into a higher level. And so that's fantastic to have those epiphanies and those aha moments and all that fantastic stuff. And also, they are saying certain things to certain people to get their attention, to trigger the crap out of you guys. With much love. And I don't appreciate being triggered myself, when I'm feeling that heat of that tension, of those emotions that are just wanting to bubble up and consume me still. I can be very capable of being triggered if I choose to be. And so I don't want to play with those emotions anymore. I want to realize this. Once I'm starting to feel these feelings, I want to say, holy shit, I'm feeling these again. And so I want to catch myself as fast as possible to think, okay, quick. What is the lessons here? What's the significance? What's the purpose of these feelings once again? Because they don't serve me anymore. I actually want to get to the bottom of this. I want to shortcut the dramas of it, the emotional flavors and all of that jazz. And I actually just want to see what this is reminding me of. And usually it will come from, say, sort of think the last time I sort of was triggered, I think it was about my confidence in self and a few other sort of things. And it sort of, really, it triggers you into having to think, why am I vulnerable to this trigger? Because when we are not got those sensitive spots, doesn't phase us. In fact, I know when people listen back to sessions that they have previously been fully triggered with, they've worked through it, they've addressed, they've connected the dots to somewhere in their life that it has made them feel a certain way. They've actually addressed that, saw the bigger picture, forgiven, healed, overcome, grown, then love, then come back to the session, re-listen with fresh, brave ears, because you have to be brave to keep growing. It's not for the faint-hearted, and this certainly isn't a hobby. It truly isn't. It's a way of life. And when we are sick of stewing in the density and the emotions of the 3D, and we want to give ourselves a break from all of that that we're doing to ourselves, remembering no one's doing this to us. The world is happening for us to have these experiences and these opportunities. And for some of you who have life purposes to serve others and to be able to empower others and inspire others and lead others, that feels like quite a lot of responsibility for a hobby. So, life, we're in it for life. And so whatever our life contract is, we have to, truly honor it. Our teams will not overlook some profound things we are supposed to be doing to help humanity and ourselves for our own soul's evolutional growth and others. While we have all free will and stuff, we're going to be pushed kicking and screaming almost to be of service, while they are ridiculously loving. Think about all the times you've loved here and felt love, times it by 1 billion, then times that by 1 billion, and then that's maybe the range of the basic starter level of love. It is so freaking profound. It is all encompassing. It will bring you to tears when you start even sensing that feeling of that pure love that they have for us. They are no joke. They are profoundly here. They profoundly love us. They profoundly accept us. But while they are loving us and acceptance of us fully for all our free will and choices, they also know we need to get a wriggle on. They also know what they can see is timelines merging and ending, and a shift coming faster than we probably truly are ready for. And while we all think, oh yeah, we're ready, take me now kind of situation, we have to still be of service to help support others. And as we've heard in many sessions, there will be something we will miss here. So don't miss it after the shift if you haven't noticed how much you love and adore and appreciate it now. And so it is extraordinary. We must be grateful for every single thing that is in our lives, surrounding us, teaching us, supporting us, nurturing us, loving us, and reminding ourselves how special and unique we are, how needed we are, how important we are, how purposeful we are, how significant we are. So again, I'm sorry for those people who have experienced triggers through channeling and through the messages, but again, I'm not, because somehow those triggers needed to reach you with much kindness and love, because that was what the actual purpose of being triggered was for. They're not hurtful, spiteful beings who get their jollies off us being very confused and challenged in the 3D. It actually is very horrific for them to see us, their very dear loved ones, struggling at such a profound rate for so long. If you could understand their position and what they've had to see and what they fully get to see, all of humanity doing what all of humanity is doing to each other. They don't understand. They don't want to understand why people would choose to follow what is going on here. They don't understand why people are still choosing certain things over inner peace, growth of soul. We're still distracting ourselves for whatever reasons, for whatever we think is serving our time and energy the most, and that is fine. Again, there is no judgment here, and I have profound acceptance of everyone's free will and choices, and I've experienced many profound sessions with people, and I have appreciated exactly what their subconscious has said and told them and advised them to do profoundly. I could see great benefit in living a life as their subconscious has recommended and suggested. And I could see amazing things happening for that person when they stepped up and followed their guidance of their subconscious in a very clear, precise directive. And of course, people have free will, and it always surprises me when people choose not to follow the subconscious. In fact, goes almost in the opposite direction. And I know that's going to be their acceptance for all, because it's their choices to do it, but it's not the easiest, fastest route, the one that is less stress free. Not trusting your guides and not following your guides through quantum sessions and doing the opposite is a very brave choice, because it's definitely going to be the hardest one. So that's what I wanted to clarify. So I am afraid to definitely not I'm afraid to not follow my guide's advice, not because of a punishment, but because I know that his suggestions is the best recommendations for me, and it's the easiest way, even though the choices that I have to make to follow because it's all about choices. You have to still make the decisions to get to the point where they want you to go. And so sometimes those are really hard choices. Sometimes I would prefer to not make the choices to get to where they need me to go. Absolutely, every day there's a choice that I have to make to continue on in the path. And sometimes they're very hard choices where I'd prefer not to, but I understand that to fully be of service and to fully step into where they're needing me to go, I have to make some hard choices and decisions. And sort of make peace with that. I'm getting better at doing that. I definitely am, but it's definitely a big journey for me too, because when I want to please everyone and support everyone, sometimes I have accidentally stumbled into not being able to support myself. And sometimes that looks like not respecting myself and my time and my energy to support others who are also not respecting my time and my energy. And so while I want to desperately help people, I can't do the inner work for them, unfortunately, as much as I would. And me giving people unsolicited advice is, obnoxious from me. So look at me here telling you now all of this without soliciting my advice. But who does she think she is? I'm that girl who is rambling on and sharing my thoughts and opinions, and you're more than welcome to listen to my journey or not. It's a free will choice and decision. But I'm just trying to explain to you, that it's still going to feel hard to step up to our path and our journeys. I know so many people right now who are not in their current jobs that they think that they love and wanted to be there forever. And it's quite upsetting for them. Why am I not in this job that I really thought I would be super happy with? And I just give a classic example. Their bodies will start resisting to be able to do the job. And so they'll come in with a whole list of physical issues, which I can clearly see are all part of their physical job that they're doing. And they're wondering why they're not even wanting to do their job. And it's so strange for them because, everything, their whole sort of identity is that being in that job and being that worker in that position. And they love it. It gives them so much. It gave them so much. Enrichment and rewardment, and they really felt like they were on their life purpose, their soul with true alignment, and it was truly for them at that time. But as their body is starting to try to give them the signs as well, it is time to give up now. And so many people have either been forced out of jobs through mandates or physical something else. So those people who don't have those jobs anymore, who are wondering, what the heck do I do now? Gosh, I'm going to worry about money, aren't I now? I'm going to worry about this. I'm going to worry about that. I mean, this is a big, drastic change for someone to change their identities of who they are as workers, and them being unemployed may be something they've never experienced in, the last sort of 30, 40 years of their lives. And they're super fragile with that identity because, they're more than that. Because they're so attached to their titles and who they are in their industries. And so, of course, we know that this is all gifts for them, profound gifts for them to stop their routines and to start and now be more realigned into the most appropriate connections of people, the most appropriate position for them to connect in and be of service. And sometimes it may not pay exactly what big corporate jobs did, but remember that money is never going to please your soul and never going to fulfill your life contract or mission or be able to help heal and support others. So, there's a lot to be said there. And I kind of feel like it is all just so purposeful. Everything that is happening is for the grand awakening, for everyone to get ready for the shift, and for everyone to start noticing their triggers and their behaviors and their identities and their labels that they put on themselves and their assumptions on what truly makes them happy. And when we are pushed into some direction that we're not feeling like it was our free will. It gets very frustrating, and sometimes we can feel really disempowered by that. But the beauty of being disempowered, just like the beauty of being triggered, is that you have to then, at some point when you choose, empower yourself through it and out of it. Just like with triggers, you have to experience it and be untriggered. And so they're wanting me to show you and remind you about the analogy of the tomato plant. And so they're saying that to be a strong tomato plant, you have to, now they're like, oh, we don't know if this is the right analogy, but I'll just stick with it. You did talk about herpes before. So anyway, I will continue on. So if it fucks up and doesn't make sense, that's all on me. So I'm owning that. So with plants, they need some wind and they need some resist, like they need to sort of grow and have some resilience. And so that is kind of like us, isn't it, on our journey? We've had to be sort of like gently pushed around, sometimes shaken around to kind of grow and be stronger for it. Remember, everything we have actually survived and overcome. When you actually put what you've overcome and what you've experienced and what you've lived through on a list, you would be so freaking proud of yourselves, because everything that we have had to overcome to be here today, gold stars for everybody, seriously, because it's not a light-hearted skip in the park. Because even if you've had a fantastic upbringing, even if you have a fantastic life, you can still just be very aware of what has gone on for this planet and what has gone on for humanity. And that is tragedy. It is a truly tragedy. And that may sound like judgment. That's more an observation. And while I appreciate all the lessons that humanity will experience and what will be learned and shared beyond this planet and beyond this universe after everything is completed, yay for that. But right now, while we're through it, we can feel the tragedies, we can feel the heartbreaks, we can feel the frustrations, we can feel all of the disempowerment that has been tried to be forced upon humanity without its full acknowledgement and awareness of it. So it's not judging, it's profound experiences. And our teams constantly will say to you in sessions, if you ask them, it never should have got this far. It never should have got this far. And yes, there is value in those lessons to overcome them. But from their perspective, this is just, it's not heartbreaking because that's an emotive word. It's something very similar. And so they're ridiculously compassionate to us being here. That's why they will give us everything we need, not everything we want, but everything we need to be able to thrive here and be of service, because we are doing a fantastic job when we are holding that frequency vibration, when we are in our neutral, in our balance. That's when we get lots of responsibility to hold a lot more energy. They pour lots of more energy into our energy field, and we are conductors to be able to hold that frequency on this planet. It's amazing what we are able to do. And often we are completely oblivious to it. So be gentle on yourselves when you're being triggered, and be on that journey and truly unpack it as much as you can. Remember to love the experience at the end, because it has taught you something really good. And if we half unpack it, you can you can trust that we'll get it again in some other format until we completely learned that lesson. Excuse me. And I just want to quickly say, this is an extraordinary day for New Zealand, as our convoy have all now started to merge onto the capital, and both sides. So we are 2 islands. Do we count Stewart Island as 3? Maybe, probably we should. Anyway. So we are majority, there's a North Island and a South Island here, and we're all merging in to be in the middle, which is the capital, which is Wellington. And so everyone who feels the calling, who wants to be a part of this convoy, are all merging together, and they've been doing it for the last 2 days. And today is the day that they all congregate together and have probably at least a week-long party here in the capital to be able to celebrate freedom, to celebrate each other, to celebrate people who want to stand up. And I was getting emotional as I was seeing some of the video footage of people celebrating them on the sides of the road, and just the sheer connection and the joy of each other, and just feeling a part of something that is bigger than themselves. And this just gives me so much joy. It gives me so much pride. I just feel so proud of them. And I use this terrible analogy, so, bear with me. It's not the first or last time I'll say something that's not as good, but it reminded me of how people must have been when you went to say goodbye to people who go to war. I know that going to a party for at least a week long to stage a protest, to be able to show the governments that, we're here, we are demanding more freedoms, we are wanting our freedoms back, we wanted the mandates to be dropped, and more truth and more facts are open to all against certain things that are being pushed on everyone to some respect. And so it's not a war they're going to, but it made me think about those people who had to truly say farewell to their town soldiers, to their youth, who were going to a different country to then fight a war. And many people didn't even know if they were going to come back. And it was this exciting time for them because they wanted this war to be over, but also maybe a really sad time because they didn't know the outcome. So, of course, totally not the same, but a lot of emotions still. And I'm just wondering, in terms of those people who wave goodbye their children, wave goodbye their husbands and their brothers and uncles who were experiencing those wars, who never got to see them again. I'm wondering if this time, because the convoy will sort itself out at some point, regardless of whatever the government does, but for those people to return home, that homecoming, could that not be said that is potentially them healing from the trauma of the lost ones? They're returning home from a big event, being proud of them for standing up, being part of a bigger unit. There's lots to be said, and I have to say that often my mind will sort of wonder about the significance of everything, as we know that everything is for the Grand Awakening and to support everyone and to help with all these triggers and traumas that people have had in other lifetimes. It was just one example of where my mind kind of goes, and I could see the significance of healing those traumas. When your children come home from protesting and being part of something, and then they get to return to you and they're safe and sound. Anyway, lots to think about, and I trust that everything is going according to divine timing and divine orchestrations, whatever you want to call it, and we're just watching it all unfold as it needs to, for those people to have those experiences, to be potentially triggered unbeknown to them about other lifetimes. So yeah, it's extraordinary times, and I truly appreciate being able to see things from this sort of bigger perspective of what potentially is going on for people right now. And as we know, many of these systems needed to break down. And so for those industries and systems that have got the heavy mandates, the medical systems, the educational systems, the police systems, a whole lot of these things that are forcing people to comply to a mandate, that was their systems opportunity to be triggered into stepping up and supporting each other. Now, most of them haven't. Most of them have broken away and gone with the mainstream narrative, and that is fine. And our teams know that, there is many options as people are still using their free will to follow and comply. And so all lessons there. The shift is going to happen regardless of what people do with their free will, but there is profound need or opportunities for these for people to step up and to stand up. And so again, this convoy, which is not just unique to New Zealand, obviously, it is followed on from the Canadian experience, and I know that Australia has got them as well. And it is about just coming together in this convoy, the excitement of being part of a community, being part of the truth for them, and to be able to support them regardless of anything else. There is no division there. It is complete, honest unity. And isn't it fantastic that we could do that? And so I want to support them today, and I will be doing some channeling and some projections of a whole lot of things that I wish for them, using my ego, and probably being told that it's well covered, so get it back in my box and know my responsibilities. Which is not worrying about people, because people are so protected, and that is fine. But I want to make sure that I'm not just assuming, because I want to make sure that I'm using my free will the best I can. And I don't mind if I assume that there is something that needs to be done and then get told lovingly, it's already covered, Joanne, and that is fine. But I still feel like if I'm being prompted to do something, I'd rather just double check and make sure, rather than a lazy assumption, oh, it's already covered, someone else is going to do that. So anyway, isn't this fun, listening to my Dear Diary posts? Okay, much love to you. I hope that you are still treating yourself well, to some great water, taking some time out for you. If you are a journaler, to just honor that. If you are an expressive creator, honor that. Whatever gives you joy, find it, harness it, love it, celebrate it. And I just truly want to just hug you guys so much, because everything's truly going to be okay. I know that sometimes it doesn't look like it. And, that is the fun of the illusion, isn't it? To get us to feel all of those feelings once again. So with great perspective, trust and have faith, all is truly well.